Hi, I'm Gabriella and welcome to my channel. So today I thought I'd talk a little bit about some of my favourite drama warm-up games. Now, I'm a person that really hates improv, but I've been doing quite a lot of acting classes recently and I've realised that it's something that just really helps me as an actor to explore other situations, see things from different angles. And we've done a lot of warm-up games which I've just found so useful, and so I thought I'd just kind of make a little collection of some of my favourites and share them. They've helped me a lot and I think they could help other people. So the first one you do in pairs. Not really sure what it's called. I'm gonna call it the pick a pose game. And the way this works is that everyone sits down and then two people at a time go up in front of everyone else, and one person has to pick a pose. Any pose they like, they can do the most ridiculous thing they like, and their partner has to explain to the audience what the other person is doing. And it's just really good. It just gets your brain thinking and, coming up with creative solutions, as well as getting you used to standing up in front of people, speaking in front of people, and just being comfortable doing silly things in front of other people, because it's basically what acting is, right? The second game is the gibberish translator. This one again is in partners, but instead of the first person picking a pose, they tell a story. The only hitch is that the story is in gibberish. So you have to stand there and basically speak gibberish. And the partner has to translate for the audience. The key thing with this is that when you're telling the story in gibberish, you're still sort of acting it out. You're not just standing there speaking words, you're emoting as well. And it's good for the person speaking gibberish to actually have a clear story in their head and not just do actions that go with whatever the translator is saying. Again, it gets you just standing up in front of people and just making you more comfortable standing up, doing things in front of other people, as well as using your imagination, because the translator has to use their imagination to figure out what on earth this person next to them is acting out. The third game is called the emotion line. So everyone stands in a line and the person running the exercise gives an emotion. And you start with the first person at one end and you go through to the person at the other end and back again, up and down the line, and you start really small, just expressing the emotion in a really small way. So if it was pain, you might just go, ow. And then it goes to the next person and they make it a little bit bigger. And the next person makes it a bit bigger, and it just goes up and down, getting bigger and bigger until people are literally throwing themselves across the room just to get the emotion going. I really like this one because I think it helps, especially if you're not so good standing up in front of other people, building that emotion together and going slowly and everyone doing it at the same time pretty much helps just you feel more comfortable getting out there and being bigger with everything that you do. Because especially with stage, you quite often have to be quite big with the way that you're acting. I mean, not all the time, but the more comfortable you are doing bigger things, bigger actions, the more comfortable you'll feel on stage being able to do everything. The fourth game is the story game. I'm sure most people are quite familiar with this. You sit in a circle and one by one you go around and you say a word, and the words build to make a story. You can use a beanbag or something, or someone in the middle to point at people, and therefore you can develop the game. You can start with just saying one word going around. You could change that to phrases or sentences each. If you're having a beanbag or someone pointing at people, you can then change the direction or go across the circle. An even further evolvement of it would be to say that you have to speak in rhymes. You can develop it in loads of different ways, and it's just another one just to get you being creative and thinking outside the box. The fifth one is another story game, and it's the shoe story. So everyone takes off one of their shoes, and you hope that no one has really stinky feet. You put them in the middle of the room, and then you each take one shoe out of the pile, and preferably not your own one. And then you have to come up with a story about it. This one's quite good because it's not like the story game where you're making a story out of nothing. You have an object in front of you to work on and to give you some inspiration, and you don't need to come up with a long story for it. It can be quite short, but the main thing is just to get that imagination going. Now, the sixth game targets something slightly different, and that's your attention to detail, because acting is all about reacting, I hear people say quite often, and it's true. You've got to be able to notice what the other person is doing and react to that. So a really good skill for an actor is observation. So the quick change artist game is quite good for that. Basically, one person goes out the room, they change something about their appearance, come back in, and then everyone has to figure out what it was that they changed. So it works on your observation skills. And sometimes people are a bit sneaky and, you know, if they're wearing like long trousers or something and then they just take off a sock, and people spend ages trying to figure out what it is that's different, and it's just the sock that's missing. They're still wearing a shoe, but they've taken their sock off and no one knows. It can go on for quite a while, but it's really good for observation skills, so might be useful. Now, I think this is the 7th one we're on? Is that 7? Yeah. 7. And that is the Expert Talker game. It can be good to come up with a whole load of topics before this, or the group can decide on a topic for you, but you do this one at a time and you stand up in front of everyone else and you have a topic and you have to give an expert talk about it. Imagine you're giving a TED talk on that subject and you can come up with the most random subjects. Like, I had advanced driving course for something and I'm like, why would you talk about advanced driving? Like, you just get some wacky ones, and even like things that you think will be quite simple, if you have to pretend to be an expert on it for ages, it can be really difficult. Like most of the others, this just gets you used to standing up in front of other people, using your imagination, and, you know, just gets you talking in front of people and getting used to talking and standing and being in front of other people. And my final game is the chair game. It's sort of similar to the shoe game, except you have one chair in the middle and you can go up in any order that you like. You can go up more than once, and you basically have to think of another use for the chair, and you have to then use the chair as that object, and everyone else has to guess what you're using the chair as, what object you are replacing the chair with. An example could be turning the chair upside down and sliding down the seat. It's a slide, and so people have to guess what that is. Again, it gets you thinking outside the box, being creative, as well as doing actions in front of other people. And people come up with the funniest things, and I guess you could use something other than a chair. You could expand that, use different objects, you could even use a shoe, find different uses for a shoe. So there you have some of my favourite acting warm-up drama games. If you know of any that I haven't mentioned here, I would love to hear about them, just because more things for me to practice. So please do let me know down in the comments. And also if you find any of these useful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!